and welcome to Geek, Chic, created for you because intelligent conversation never goes out of style. Here is the home for business brain candy. On Geek Chic, we invite subject matter experts to come in and give us their knowledge and wisdom and insights on a subject that could significantly impact your business. This podcast is brought to you from Sales Geek Essex in partnership with DMV Films, the home for professional podcast filming. See all of the links in the section below. So hello and welcome to Geek Chic, your go-to place for brain candy. We invite subject matter experts in to talk about how their methods, knowledge, wisdom, skills impacts the business's bottom line. That's P&L, not VPL. And today, start with a joke, break those ices. Today we have two fabulous, iconic Essex women who do amazing things in business communities. I have the fabulous Jacqui Stimpson, who is the business growth manager at the LaunchPad. Jacqui supports our sales club in Southend, which really kind of enhances the knowledge and the impact on local growth. And she is possibly the best connected business support champion in Essex, in my humble opinion, which isn't humble at all. And the superhero sidekick today with you is the fabulous Rosemary Cunningham. She is the creator of Winning Women. Rosemary inspires, supports and connects women business owners and founders, and you know, we're totally behind the curve on so many things, and you are all about levelling that playing field. So I am so honoured to have you, brilliant women, in the same space talking about this. And today is all about how you build community. Now, in the last year, I do not know how I would have survived in the last year without my business community. You know, like with my injury and people coming forward and just being there, and it's just been amazing. And I do say that it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a community to build a business. Now, it's so profoundly important. So we're going to talk all about building business communities, because you ladies are the queens of this space. So
Jacqui.
We should all have crowns.
I thought
Just
you
saying.
had the crown.
I know, it's a silent crown. So, first of all, I'd just kind of like to know and understand your journey to where you are now, because you're both incredibly kind of established in your field and what you do. So how did you get to this space? I'm going to start with Jacqui. What was your journey to here?
Believe it or not, my actual background is in banking. I had 26 years in banking, so I've done everything from being an advisor right the way through. Towards the end of my career in banking was a business development manager nationally around the UK, and also a coach. The majority of it was coaching, going in observing customer service, helping people improve their knowledge and skills. Brilliant. So maxing out on my pension, maxing out on my redundancy. I thought time to jump ship in the banking world, and I had the pleasure of joining the Best Growth Hub, which is one of the national business support facilities in Essex, and effectively trying to make a difference to business, which was in 2017. Wow. Worked there for 7 years, working my way up to eventually running the Growth Hub, and we were all about, as a team, we're all about really making that difference to local businesses. We were a bunch of know-alls, to be quite honest. We had to know about all the business support that was available, all the networking that was available, and really try to make a difference, especially during COVID, with events to try and make sure that businesses were being kept informed of what was actually out there for them.
Wow.
So when government funding ended for the Growth Hub, I then moved across to the LaunchPad, and I'm effectively doing what I did at the Growth Hub, helping to triage businesses, help them to connect them, to make a difference, to mentor them and coach them, and using the business support network with people like you, Lisa, people like Rosemary, trying to bring all those business ecosystems together to make sure that businesses are on that trajectory of growth.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
Love it, love it.
It's not even like working, is it?
No.
No, it definitely isn't. And Rosemary, what about your journey?
Wow. Well, I started off as a nurse.
Wow.
Back in the 80s, trained around here in Rochford Hospital where I was born.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to like me. I had eczema on my hands, and 3 weeks after I qualified, I was told basically I wasn't fit to nurse in any clinical area. Yeah,
Wow.
I look like you. I was so shocked. I can still remember, but it was. I feel like I was being moved. It's like the universe had a guiding hand behind me.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so far, my hands have changed my career 8 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and even to the point where in the last 12 months, it's my skin, it's my hands. I'm what's known as a hypersensitive person. I'm an empath, so I'm very, very sensitive to other people's feelings. I do business and money archetypes with my business and money coaching clients, which is my main source of income.
Yeah.
And I'm a nurturer. That's my dominant money
Love
archetype.
that, yes.
Yeah. Hence the nursing and so what I've created in Winning Women is a community where women feel safe to have their own business, and we put the wing beneath each other's wings. So COVID was a very, very important time. I was probably working 14, 16 hours a day. We had extra calls. We were just holding everyone together. And I've always said if I put my clogs tomorrow, I could be very proud of the legacy. However, I'm likely to be here for another 30 years. So I've still got a lot to do.
We're like cockroaches, we ain't going to die easy,
That's
right?
No. So I've probably got another 30 years, but in the middle of that, I had a 25-year career doing complementary therapy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ran a really successful home and clinic-based complementary therapy business where I treated about 25 people a week. And I went back to the NHS that had kind of kicked me out, and I treated the staff, and I did I had some incredible opportunities that were just, I was so blessed to have. One of my nursing jobs, they asked me to go in and treat people who had complex illnesses.
Yeah.
And that was a complete blessing. My boss found me. And another interesting thing that might interest some of you is I found out my human design is I'm a projector.
Okay.
Yeah, and projectors respond best being invited.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
interesting. You would have thought it would be the other way around, right?
right.
Like foghorn, like me.
There you go, yeah. So all my best opportunities, like today, you invited me to
Yes.
come. Yeah, I was invited to that nursing job. I was invited back to the NHS. I was invited to work in the most phenomenal physiotherapy clinic where I was for 15 years. And that is my energy. And so I'm not kind of a go-getter, if you like. And one thing I've had to learn is also when there's a time to say this isn't working. Yeah, and put my hands up and not fight it, as in my career.
Yeah.
And so I've created, and it was originally called Essex Heart-Centred Entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
That rolls off the tongue nicely, doesn't
I
it?
know, that's why it's because as a spiritual person and a new coach, I went to a London Heart-Centred Entrepreneurs, and it was the first networking group I'd ever felt I could relax and be me. I was
Because it is odd, isn't it?
It's really, really odd, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was welcomed by a man, and he became quite a good friend, and so I went and started my own group, but in the first year only 2 men came.
Oh.
So, and Winning Women was actually a franchise at the time. Also run an amazing woman called Alice Marlowe, who was also hypersensitive and an empath. And she gave up because she had adrenal burnout.
Wow, okay.
So there's a lesson here, isn't there?
Yeah,
And my adrenal burnout has been my skin.
Wow.
So a lot of the women who come to my group are really quite scared about networking.
Yeah.
They're scared of finding their voice. Sometimes they'll come in the room. There's a lovely soul called Claire who's come recently, and she came in and oh, hello, I haven't seen you for ages. We used to be therapists in the same clinic. And I gave her a hug, and she said, oh, Rosemary, I knew I'd be safe as it was you here.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
incredible. How that must be so uplifting.
Yeah, because we need gentle people in this world.
Yeah.
We need.
It's a harsh world, and business world
Yeah.
is even more cutthroat, right?
Yeah. And I have to say, one of my proudest things recently has been our collaboration with Metro Bank. We've done joint events with them, because that is big corporate coming together with heart-centred business.
Yes, I love that.
And we had an amazing event. We've had a couple, but the first one we did, quite a few men came. We called it a Winning Women and Men event. And interestingly, the main topic of conversation was business toxicity, particularly for men.
Yes. That's a massive thing. And networking done well, like people don't know how to network, do they? They don't know what they're supposed to do. There are people that go in and just kind of hang back. There are people that go in and with their pitch.
Like you.
Well, I never pitch. I am literally the anti-pitch bitch. I tell people, do not pitch.
No.
Do not pitch, get to know people. So that leads us beautifully into our first question, and that is around building communities, because it is incredibly important, because when you're out there in your ivory tower on your own, that's where we start, with a telephone in a bedroom on a computer. That's where we start. Or with women especially, is that you build something around your childcare, because we opt out of that corporate thing because we're bright enough to do so, and then we kind of go, I can do this better, I can do this differently, I can do this in a way that fits my priorities, and my priorities is my family. So I think there's a real interesting thing in there, but it's a bit of an odd environment. It's, business is traditionally paternalistic. The old boys network, all of that kind of stuff, and often women feel that they have to put on that masculine energy or persona. So building communities and bringing knowledge and comfort and opportunity and support is really, really important. And building community, it's everything. So what would you consider to be the first steps in creating a thriving business community from scratch? We go to you first, Jacqui.
I mean, obviously, for those of you who don't know, the LaunchPad is effectively a business hub.
Yeah.
It's 18 offices with a hot desking area, and you got that all over Essex.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to do something quite different at the LaunchPad, which was basically provide an environment, that safe environment, that businesses could come to, that could collaborate together. So we were quite clear from the outset, you can come to the LaunchPad to set up your business or to help grow your business, but only if you want to be part of the community, not just the internal community, but the external community, about making that difference.
I love
So
that. It's not just a space.
It's not just a space.
No.
And we refused to take anybody that was just going to be sitting in their room, getting on with the work, and then going home at the end of the evening. We wanted to create an environment where people felt safe, where they felt safe to talk, where they felt safe to think about their wellness. We're a wellness centre as well, so we encourage people to get out at lunchtime, go for a run, go for a walk to try and clear their mind. But also what we're trying to do is encourage them to collaborate together, and we're starting to see that every single day. We've got a brand new cafe that's opened.
I love the cafe.
So the fact that we've got, so they some really good quality foods, and we talk about feeding not only their bodies but feeding their soul and fueling their mind, in order to make sure that they're taking that quality time out. So the first small steps is to make sure that you're quite clear about what your mission is, what your values are, and make sure that you are living and breathing that. A good example is wellness. I've never been great at looking after my health and well-being. Most business people don't look after their health and well-being. So I took control, and I've ended up using people from my business ecosystem to help me look at my own health and well-being issues. So, I'm trying to live and breathe those values through the sort of community that we've got at the LaunchPad.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, in terms of the external community, is using those connections. We all know people.
Yes, we do.
But we don't make the most of those connections. No. So really, it was about really getting people really excited about this brand new facility that was offering. There's not any other business centre that has a business growth manager
No.
that we can sit and have those one-to-one conversations with those businesses in a safe and confidential environment
Yeah.
to help make sure they get the right connections and the right people, like you, Lisa, in terms of running the sales clubs.
Yeah.
If you look at what Rosemary does in terms of winning women,
Yeah.
it's making the women that are running businesses in the centre feel empowered. So I think in terms of the first steps, be clear
Yep.
what your mission is, what your values are, what you stand for,
Yep.
and live and breathe that. Because if you replicate that and the community sees that you're passionate and determined to provide that type of environment, they'll come on board.
Yeah. Your vibe attracts your tribe,
That's
right?
it,
And it is
exactly.
about,
Yeah.
we are tribal at
Yeah.
our base.
Yeah.
We are connectors. We
Yeah.
absolutely thrive and desire
Yeah.
with human connection. And being able to have people around you, because what's the thing? You're some of the 5 closest people to you.
Yeah.
So the people you surround yourself by, it's really important, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Rosemary, what would you consider to be the first steps? Because you've built this incredible community. What did you do first, and what would you advise on kind of how to do this?
Okay, so I made a cake and a large pot of tea. And I
Yes.
had and I lit the fire, and 2 women joined me in my living room.
Oh.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, 2011, 2013 maybe. Yeah. That's how I started. Yeah, we had a conversation.
We've had this conversation with some other guests.
Yeah.
Cake is the way we get to where we need to be,
Yeah.
which is usually slightly wider. Not like you. You obviously have healthy
I
days.
can't eat cake. Yeah. It's doing it. It's just
Yeah.
doing it. And then the next week I went to a cafe and there were 2 different women there. And interestingly enough, they're still in my world. One of them got in touch not long ago because she's getting divorced, and she wanted me to recommend a solicitor who wouldn't be a ball breaker, for want of a better term.
Yeah,
Someone who was actually going to be kind. And I was I've got just that person for you. These women will look after you.
Yeah.
And she needs to be looked after in a really difficult time. So
Yeah.
I just got going. And then, as one of my good friends reminded me, sometimes I'd be sitting there at 10:10 and no one else had arrived in the cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody had come through the door and they'd driven 30 miles to be there.
Yeah.
So it was just keeping going. And then within, I don't know, then they started to find us. We had a really interesting group, and about just over a year, there were 21 of us sitting around the table in Strawberry Fields.
Wow.
Yeah, and Alice Marlowe with Winning Women, and we'd met, and she said, I'd love you to be a franchisee, and I didn't have the money for it. In the end, I didn't pay her a franchise fee, she just wanted me to be part of it. And then when she got her adrenal burnout, maybe 2 years, 18 months later, I'm the only person who kept going.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had already started something, but we did a lot. We used to, this was 2013, 2014, and I wanted to bring, she'd got a list of the most amazing speakers who would come to Southend free. So that's what I wanted. And now we had 50 people at the launch. We used to get sometimes 65 people there for heart-centred selling.
Wow.
It was one of our
Amazing.
things.
I love that.
Lady called Catherine Watkin. And then I used to do that was in the evening, and then we had our sort of morning meetings as well. At one time I was running 5 a month.
Wow. It's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot of events to run, right?
it was
Get
a lot.
people to
Absolutely.
and drive that.
Yeah, and I think there's also a time to say this isn't working anymore, or I'll pass that one on to someone else. But it really was keeping going. And once again, she goes some amazing values. Hers was celebrating each other.
Yes.
Yeah, collaboration, community. I can't remember the others. There were 5 of them. But you get the drift, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think just allowing it to grow, and then of course as soon as Facebook came along, I created a Facebook group. That grew fairly slowly, but immediately I got this hit to do a free-for-all Friday, and this would have been 10 years ago. So every Friday we have a post where people can share their business. But we also started blogging Tuesday. We had an incredible speaker, Sarah Arrow, who had a website called Birds on the Blog, which was started to help the women of Essex share their stories.
Oh, wow.
And she came and taught us to blog. And so we still have Blogging Tuesday, where artists can come and share a picture of their artwork, somebody else can share one of their products, they can do a live in the group. That's every Tuesday, even now. But sometimes there's 20 posts in there, but there's not many places to share your blogs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so it's been creating a space where people can come and share. We have collaboration posts. Who's looking for a collaboration partner? We do skill swaps. What have you got to share? And I'll just do a post, what have you got to share? What do you need? Post it below and expect magic.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's those meaningful interventions and collections and events and all of that where, that engagement. So when it comes to, because it's not just about going out there and being present or going through the motions, it really is about creating meaningful relationships and engagement. So how do you start that? How do you go about that, Rosemary?
I did a lot of networking myself.
Yeah.
I already had, and I carried on doing it to the point where we decided we'd do a really big event. It was called the Essex Business Women's Experience, and one of my colleagues came in within 2 days and said, we'd like to sponsor you. And she said, I know you're the real deal, I've seen you everywhere, I know you're a serious businesswoman and networker.
Amazing.
Even though I felt I was a bit, I was a therapist and I was a coach, and I wasn't earning a lot of money, that kind of thing, all the stuff we put ourselves down for. And it was being out there, being seen, making the effort to go to places and meet people. Jacqui says, come and have a meeting, I go. Yeah, just
invite you.
Always invited. Yeah, that's what as geeks when we first start out. It's like you literally have to go everywhere, be everywhere, talk to everybody, find your tribe, use your voice, support people, because fundamentally that's what we're about, right? It's about uplifting, growth, helping people change the way the world perceives sales. It's about changing those mindsets and perspectives and actually having those meaningful discussions.
Definitely. And interestingly, you say that I'm an introvert. I've lived by myself since '92.
Wow.
If I ever get married, I'll be separate houses.
I love that.
And I've seen this work really well too.
Yeah.
Because
you lose who you are sometimes,
can't you?
right?
But having been on as long as I have, but
you're an introvert, but you're going out to those networking.
That's right. But as a nurturer, I'll look for the uncomfortable person.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll go and say, oh, my name's Rosemary, how are you? You okay? Well, not you okay, but...
come and join us, or come and speak to
Yes.
us. I do that a lot, because
definitely.
I feel like I do not want to be doing the talking.
No,
I know
smile
that
along.
sounds strange.
Smile along, make eye contact.
Make eye contact, bring people in, because
Yeah,
they're
be friendly.
always, and often, usually women, and I will go, oh, come in, because it's difficult, because we're very polite, it's all very awkward. I'm very socially awkward, I know that sounds weird, but I do feel, even if it doesn't come across, I do feel very socially awkward, and put me in a room, I'm very good one-to-one, and in these situations, I'm great. But as soon as, with my ADHD and everything else, as soon as there's too much noise, too many people, I get very overwhelmed very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm a 10, half a dozen. It depends on the size of the room, because I think
you move like a swan through the room. I've seen you do it.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit braver. I think the key thing, going back to what you said about the meaningful conversations, is just to be your authentic self.
Yes.
Don't go in there with a set agenda.
No.
Don't go in there thinking I'm going to pitch.
Take business cards away.
Take this and all that sort of thing. Just forget all of that.
Yeah.
Just rock up and be genuinely interested.
Yes, present.
Be present.
Yeah.
100%. Whether it's active listening.
Yes.
Whether it's eye contact.
Yes.
Just be present and show genuine concern. I often find myself quickly sneaking off into a corner and writing a couple of notes down afterwards. Something that's personal to them.
Yes.
So that the next time when I connect with them, I'll recall that conversation, and then suddenly that will make them think, wow, she did really take notice of me. So I think being your authentic self, but I also think when we go to those networking events and when we're having those meaningful conversations, it's a two-way conversation.
Yes.
It's a two-way relationship.
Yes.
I think it's really important to think about, you know, when I think about the work that I've done with you ladies, and you were mentioning values earlier on, it's because a lot of our values align.
Yes.
I'm a natural nurturer like you.
Yeah. Me too.
You are about making a difference as
Yeah.
well. So if I think about our values and our mission as business women and what we're
Yes.
trying to achieve, we align. So what we're talking about is, well, I can work with you, but what can I do for you? So I'm always about giving back.
Yes.
You know, if you help me, like the sales clubs that we do at LaunchPad, I'm thinking, well, what can I do to support Lisa and the people that she's working with that come into the podcast today? So I think it really is about meaningful conversations.
Yes.
It's two-way. Be yourself, but remember they're human beings as well,
Yes.
and create that personal touch so that they remember you.
Yeah.
Apart from the Scottish accent,
Oh.
that's why people remember me.
I can sit and listen
It's
to you
my
for
energy.
hours.
It's the energy and
Yes.
the enthusiasm. If you walk in there like a wallflower, you know, and you don't have that energy and that passion and that enthusiasm,
Yeah.
you can fade away to the background a little bit.
I
So
agree.
it's having a presence, it's being present,
Yes.
and having a presence
Yeah.
is really important.
I think one of the key tips that I talk to people about is to talk less small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're starting to open up a conversation, well, oh, it's a nice weather, I can't.
No.
I can't small talk. Like, I switch off. You know, I'm a high D, high I have ADHD, have very limited attention span. So you start talking to me about irrelevant stuff, and I'm like, you know, but it's about talking less small. You know, things for me is like, what are you here for? What do you want to achieve? Because as soon as I know what they want to achieve, I can either point them in the right direction. It's about supporting that. Oh, I've got somebody great that you could speak to. Oh, yeah, really, you know, or something I can give.
Yeah.
And also, I need to pull out of them what it is that they want to achieve. So it is about going in with that. And often people go, oh, I don't really know. I just, you know, they're filling the time, or they're needing some social interaction because they've been sitting on their own on the telephone, you know. But it's that talking less small. So get a couple of interesting conversations that are fairly generic, and go out there and ask them. So what's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge in your business today? There might be something I can do. Yeah. So when people come and
What
talk
keeps
to me,
you up at night?
what keeps you up
It's
at
a
night?
great interview question.
Ah,
If you ever
yes.
go into an interview and you want to really make that person on the other end think, you say to them, if I started the job tomorrow, tell me what it is that keeps you awake,
Yeah.
and how can I fix that?
Yes.
It's a great question for when you
Yeah,
interview.
what keeps you up at night? What's your
Yeah.
biggest challenge?
Yeah.
You know, and people will go, they will start to say, no, look, it's really important, I might be able to help. You know, you're well connected. I've got a huge amount of knowledge because my hungry brain goes and gobbles everything up. But it's like, I can help. You know, so it's like Alvin Stardust, which nobody will remember. I can help. You know, 2 strong arms and all that sort of stuff. I'll stop to sing in these things. But it is about, what can I do to help? So what do you feel about making those meaningful connections? Because you can't make meaningful connections on platitudes or small talk. It's not a thing, right?
No, well, something just keeps coming up to me here is about competing.
Okay.
There's a lady in my group who's a late 60s, and she said her father used to actively get her to compete with her sister.
Oh.
Yeah, and almost tell one something so it would undermine the other. Yeah.
Wow.
Right? And she's also of the generation where when she started, I think she's 67, Celia is, when she started her job there was a pay scale for women and there was a pay scale for men.
Yeah, not unusual.
Yeah, and I think for women, and I noticed this with myself, we are in business, you're automatically, we're conditioned to look at other people who do something similar to us as competition.
Which is crazy, and you get that whole queen bee syndrome.
Yeah.
I've very rarely had issues with men because, you know, I'll stand toe to toe and I'll use my gifts as a woman. You know, I'm not ashamed of saying, like, you know, I'm going to use my charm, my looks, my, you know, all of that engaging stuff, because it's all about building relationships. You know, so that thing you do energetically to bring people in, to attract people. I'm not going to be afraid of using that. But like you say, it can be it's an alien environment,
It's imprinting on us.
Yeah,
It's
and
deep
I very rarely, and I'm calling this out, that Queen Bee syndrome, seeing other women as competition for men, for jobs, for power, for whatever it is, right? I have never had many problems with men. Men tend to be, what you see is what you get. There are very few, the ones that are really toxic, very few or political, but the biggest problems I've faced in, power struggles or, I'm a big personality. I'm going to upset people, right? I'm going to walk in a room and I'm going to be seen and I'm going to be heard. And the biggest issue I have had in acceptance, in progression, when I've worked with other people, I consider myself to be unemployable, is the fact, that Queen Bee stuff. And I have a woman, I think, great, I'm working for a woman. And then they turn into being, like the second you come up with a great idea, or the second you, do something which is inspirational, or you grab the limelight, or whatever it is. And I do that, right? I'm going to do that. I'm a shining, light-working, whatever light, and that's going to upset people. That really upsets people. And that's the thing, and that, changing that, and that's a really big prejudice of mine. And I'm completely owning this because of the worst experience I've had hasn't been from men. No. It has been from women.
Yeah. Which brings up something about winning women, because when I first started it, when lots of people did aloe vera. Remember that? Yeah, Forever Living. And
I still use it.
There you are, yeah. There's not quite so many people around doing it now.
Yeah.
And Alison said to me she'd done an event and she'd got 4 people who all wanted to have aloe vera there. She said, you're very welcome, but you need to do this between you. So that's what I've done when I've had events. So I've got people to collaborate and it's, oh, really? Wasn't I the first? No. Between you, and that's one thing we've always
done. It's a big message. More people talking about it, the more the spread, right?
Yeah, and so that's what I've done in Winning Women community. We've never had exclusivity in anything.
Yeah.
I've never restricted how many people come to meetings who do the same thing. One time we had five financial consultants in the room, and they had coffees together afterwards, and they became friends. And we also had another occasion. I put people into random groups at our meetings. We had 3 women sit down together, and their commonalities, all their husbands had Asperger's.
Wow.
And that was just a random thing of me putting them in a group. And so these are the kind of conversations which can really get in the way of your business, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yes, never had any sort of exclusivity in anything really, or needed to. People self-filter. But I haven't had to have a meeting where you're only allowed to talk about this because this person's. And
where is authenticity? Women, we mask, right? We go through life masking, and it's only when you get to a certain age, I feel, that you take that mask off. And I think, in my crone age, I'm 58, loving life, kicking the shit out of things still. The fact of the matter is, I feel more my authentic self. I've taken off those masks as with ADHD, with my dyslexia, they're all masks. You have to mask to be socially acceptable. Fitting in is the biggest disease of us as human beings, right?
Keeping it quiet, don't be too loud, don't overperform, and
I remember as a 20-year-old, massively smashing out of the park, and as a woman in a floor of 150 men, and I was smashing that, cold calling targets, sales targets, and people just kind of looked at me and looked at my success, and they were like, oh, well, it's Lisa, she's just a bit crazy. And I just thought, you know what, if that's going to stop your ego bruising because I'm outperforming you on every level, then that's fine. She's just that crazy person, but nice, uplifting, crazy person, don't know what she does, can't replicate it, so it's okay. The masks we wear, the things we keep ourselves small. I've kept myself small for most of my career because I'm just too much.
Yeah.
Right? I am that too much woman. And the masks we wear, to stop doing that, you know, and what you do, and both of you, you know, unmasking, be authentic, be who you are, you know, all of that stuff is like...
Yeah, it's safe now.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's understanding that everybody brings something to the table because of our life experience.
Yes.
You know, because everybody has different journeys, have had different relationships, have had different jobs, but there's always some kind of commonality.
Yes.
Somewhere it's just up to you to find it in order to bring out the best of that relationship, whether it be, you know, husband, wife, best friends, whatever.
Yeah.
You bring out the best in each other, and I think that's really important.
I agree.
And there's definitely some self-exploring to be done there for a lot of people.
Yes.
Even now I am. Because
Just to
I know I'm
identify who
ready
you
for
are,
something.
right?
Yeah, I'm just ready for something new. I'm ready for another new era of Rosemary. You know,
Ooh.
I've got a sense, I've had a sense for about 2 or 3 years that my 60s are probably going to be the most important decade of my career.
Yeah.
Because 1 in 3 adults and 1 in 2 youngsters wants their own business. You know, women need help, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
But even if you think about that, Rosemary, most people when they're in their 60s years ago, as a woman in business, would never have thought that you wouldn't be thinking between 60 and 70 that you would still be carrying on your career.
Yeah.
So that shows an inner strength in you in terms of, you know, still wanting to get out there and fight for it, you know. So I think it's amazing, well done.
And I think it's finding that purpose and passion, that ikagi I talk about a lot, is finding what it is that doesn't make work feel like work. You know, because if you can find that space where, you know, you've got something that fills your soul, that the world needs, that the world's willing to pay for, and that makes a difference, then you've got that space, and it doesn't ever... What I do, this doesn't feel like work, this feels like play. Everything I do feels like play, right? I'm probably one of the most playful people when I'm out there, you know, and then I go home in a quiet room and just recharge, because that's a lot, right? You know, recharging. I have this, you know, this outside one, and there are days when I can't do it, and now I turn around and go, I'm not going to do it, you know, and I say I need to have some time and space. So all of these things, you know, the creation of those meaningful relationships. How do you measure the success of the communities that you've created? And I'm going to start with you, Rosemary. How do you measure success?
In terms of physical groups, it's people continually wanting to be there, obviously. I've closed groups, so we're about to close one because the women who are running it just have so much going on and other priorities. And I'm not prepared to stretch myself into a different part of the country. It's just not what I'm here to do. And other people are popping up and filling those voids. It's seeing people grow and their happiness and their radiation, and seeing the support, seeing people feel supported.
Yeah.
I have a lovely woman called Anna, who's my assistant at the moment. She came to Winning Women this month a year ago, and she just moved to the UK with her son. She didn't know anyone, she was getting him settled in school, and she actually volunteered to work with me because she wanted to do some, she could see I wasn't getting my coaching stuff in the diary because I was so involved in the admin.
Yeah.
So she came and helped me with that. We've been working together now all year, but I see how her life's changed.
Yeah.
You know, she's blossomed, she's confident, she's got more friends, she's got more purpose, she's happier, she's relaxed.
That's amazing.
And she now has her own community, which is, you know, if I disappeared and Winning Women disappeared, she'd still have those people.
Amazing.
And you see incredible, deep heart connections and long-term friendships coming from these groups.
And that's a hell of a measure of success, right? It's a real legacy. You know, that connecting people is such an incredible thing, and the support and the love and the care they show for each other is a huge level of success, right?
And equally, sometimes the success is when they move on.
Yes, fly the nest.
Yeah, and that's not an easy one as a woman with rejection, issues, but we have to celebrate it. I'm so busy, I've started my own networking group, I just haven't got the capacity for this anymore.
Yeah.
go with my blessing, you know,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
keep in touch.
Yeah.
So it definitely can be, or moving up from coming into Winning Women and getting the confidence to find their voice and speak around a table.
Yeah.
And then they've got the confidence to go to, you know, a Women in Business networking group and meet different people and have a different experience. So, yeah, that's a measure of success.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Jacqui? How do you measure the success of what it is that you do in your communities?
And there's a couple of things for me that really stand out. I suppose at the LaunchPad, if you're looking at the sort of quantitative side of it, you know, we've only opened our doors about a year and a half ago and we're full. As soon as somebody progresses to moving out, which is, well, like you said, to fly the nest, we've already got people waiting to come in to those doors. So for us, a great measure of success is the fact that we've already got a building that's full of people that want to be there.
Really rare, right? Because
Yeah.
commercial space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like you're super cheap either.
No, exactly.
There's a whole. You're buying more than the space.
That's right.
Right.
Because you've obviously got access to us. You've got the events, the networking, and everything. So for us, from a quantitative point of view, that's a great measure of success.
Yeah.
From a quality point of view, though, the success for me is just being able to. After everybody, and people find this hard, we've created a space where it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, that you can come and talk to me and find out, you know, what help, maybe even just, you know, you're having a bad time at home.
Yeah.
You know, you've had a row with the wife or the husband or the partner and you just want somewhere to talk, somewhere space, or you've got a business idea. You know, I've had men sit in front of me actually with imposter syndrome, just like females
We all do.
have it.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why I'm in business, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then
Wow.
actually just to turn around and go, do you know what, well done, you've done a bloody good job.
Yeah.
And the tears well up in their eyes, so the fact that they can connect with me and the rest of the team on a human level.
And themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
to feel
that's the
safe
thing.
to do that is just amazing. I love the fact that they're, you know, I see them going into the coffee shop and they love the bite and they'll be buying each other coffee, they'll be sitting down having a chat. Well, quite recently we had one of the guys who does the dedicated desk recognised that one of the other guys was having a really tough time and you'd noticed that he'd gone into himself. And then they bumped into each other in the cafe and he walked up to me and just went, "Are you alright, mate? Do you need to have a chat?" And I just thought, to be able to create that kind of environment where they feel that they've got that sense of community, that sense of safe space is amazing. The other thing for me is making a difference in the wider community.
Yes.
You know, it's working with people like the third sector, the charities, you know, trying to help them out, working with the universities, with the colleges, thinking about the future workforce. I get a real kick every day knowing that we are making some kind of difference on every level.
Yeah.
And for me, the fact that people come on recommendation, the fact that people are contacting me to either come to the centre, to work in the centre, or to support the centre, or to support the local community like you ladies have offered and helped, you know, I think that's amazing and that's a great measure of loyalty, trust, engagement, all the things that I pride myself on doing for people that are in my network. So yeah, I think it's been an amazing journey so far and I'm really excited to see what happens in the next time at LaunchPad.
Definitely, and it's that values and mission driven stuff. And people turn around to me when I say, no, these things are free.
Yeah.
You know, our training app is free.
Yeah.
You know, our sales clubs are free.
Yeah.
Right? And people go, what's the catch? I have people physically not come because it's free.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, let's stop that in a conversation. The reason why we do this is because we are on a mission.
Yeah.
And we're on a mission to transform the way the world perceives sales. That's the Geek mission, that's where we're all going, that's our aligned value. And we will do that. And we can't do that with just our customers. So there's a large proportion of the stuff we do which is for free. You know, we can't change the world with just the people who are willing to pay for our services. So we give them for free, just in small things, and be able to give the help to those that need it the most.
I kind of wish we didn't use the word free.
Yes.
Because actually,
it's an investment in time.
It's an investment
It
in
is.
our time.
Yes.
We're investing our time in organising these events,
Yes.
organising these networks. You know, if it was down to me, I would have everybody donate £1 to charity. So that
we should do that.
Maybe putting a monetary value to it.
Yeah.
But actually, you do what you do because you're invested in making a difference.
Yes.
I do what I do, and you do what you do because you're invested in making a difference.
Yeah.
We want to nurture people. We
Yes.
want to see them grow. We want to see them, you know, fly the nest, whatever it may be.
We want to create a better
But
world.
we want to create a better, absolutely.
Yes.
We want to create a better world. So we're investing our hearts,
Yes.
our mind, our knowledge and our skills.
And our time, which
our
is
time.
precious, right?
Because that's one of the most common challenges, isn't it?
Yes.
I
Not
can't
enough
go
time, not
because
enough
I
money.
have time, not enough time, not enough money.
Make that time,
Yeah.
make those connections. Thank you so much, ladies, for your, it's just inspiring and brilliant, and what you do, like, thank you for what you do, because it is hugely important. And I've got a couple of nice little finisher questions. And my first one is that who is your Brain County hero? Who do you go to for inspiration? What's that thing, that the person that speaks the truth that you can echo?
Don't know who's brave enough to talk to me in that manner.
But it's when we listen to other people, so thought leaders, spiritualists, whatever it might be.
I've got a couple.
Go on then.
I've got a couple of people I've been following since 2020. A Swedish lady called Mia Kafkos.
Mia Kafkos, never.
Very much a spiritual leader, right on the edge. I mean, they are so brave in what they put out there every day.
Okay.
And a phenomenal guy called Tim Wilde, WHILD. He's a proper blokey bloke. He's down in Dorset. He's right on the edge spiritually, and he broadcasts twice a week, every week.
Wow.
They are both so out there, and they charge very little for their group things. You can do something for about, I don't know, 11, 15 euros or something like that.
Bonkers.
So it's available to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's always given with so much love and caring and honesty, and also massively in connection with nature as well.
Love that.
Yeah, a lot of my work is definitely going to, I'm probably going to go travelling next year, and I shall be doing all my lives in incredible places in nature.
Definitely.
That's
Getting
what
out
I'm
to
going
nature, I
to do.
take those shoes off, I'm a barefooted wild child.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I being indoors is very unusual for me. Getting out and being in nature is definitely
It's
being
definitely
in
the
the
way
sea.
forward, isn't it, for business?
Definitely
Yeah.
is. Definitely is. And you encourage people to go out at lunchtime and other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So who's your inspiration? Do you have something that?
I don't. I'm on a bit of a journey at the moment
Okay.
because I'm finding more and more people are on that more spiritual journey
Yes.
that are trying to understand that there's more to life than medicines and pills and
Yep.
and actually taking empowerment. So at the moment I'm sort of getting inspiration from one of the customers in the LaunchPad.
I love that.
I'm really on a bit of a journey with them. I'm sort of mentoring them as a business,
Yeah.
but actually they're teaching me a little bit about
And what are they called?
their national online wellbeing
Ah,
services.
yes, I know the girls.
The
that
nice
come to-
ladies. So
Yeah.
they're very much about energy, presence, health and well-being,
Love that.
and they've helped to do two things for me. And they're actually possibly going to be releasing a podcast
Love that.
very soon. And one of the things that they're about is I am enough.
Yes.
Me as a human being, I am enough.
Mm.
So accepting that I am who I am, with all my flaws and all my quirks, but
Yeah.
also all that I've got to give. So I'm on that bit of journey at the moment that I am enough.
I am enough sounds like the most perfect piece
Yeah.
of wisdom. So is there a piece of wisdom or advice that you would, what's the best piece of wisdom or advice that you would
It's
give?
something I learned from years ago from a woman called Dee Wallace, who was the actress who played the mother in E.T. back in the day.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's also a spiritual leader. She's still an actress. She's about 75 now, but she talks about claiming your day.
So going back to claiming your day
claiming
and
your day.
confirmation bias, because we see it's perspectives, isn't it? It's what we think we're going to see, we confirm.
Absolutely, yeah. So I wake up in the morning, if you remember it before you get out of bed, but I did it when I got here, was I'd forgotten to do it, was I claim today is joyful, peaceful, fun, and bring me the perfect people who I can help today.
Love that.
One of my mentor, another amazing woman is Mother Marley, Jennifer Longmore, and she always says, ask, how many people can I be a blessing to today? Or how many people can my business bless today?
Yeah.
And then you're from that place of,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be over striving or over giving, it's just, it can be a hello to someone when they walk in the room and they're looking terrified, it might be about hand on someone's shoulder, which can just change everything, can't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just that claiming your day is so powerful. And people say to me years on when they're, what did you get from me coaching with you? Well, one of the things was that claiming your day.
Yeah. That's incredible. And making a difference, we make a difference, even if it's walking into a shop, to the person who's behind the counter or a supermarket, and smile and make eye contact and say, hello.
How are you?
And just be really present. Yeah, being present. We are human beings in the end of the day, and we have to do that. And that human connection is something you ladies do so beautifully and so brilliantly. And I thank you for your service, for today, and for everything you do. And thank you so much for being part of my podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Lisa.
Thank
It's
you,
been a
Lisa.
joy. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you for listening and watching our Geek Chic, our podcast created for you because intelligent conversation never goes out of style. Your chosen place for business brain candy. We hope you have enjoyed this conversation. Please remember to give us a thumbs up, a follow, a like, a share, subscribe, all of those things. Tell all of your friends, comment, give us feedback, and we hope you've enjoyed our little production. It is brought to you in conjunction with Sales Geek Essex and DMB Films, the home for professional podcast filming. This is Lisa from Sales Geek, wishing you all wisdom and wellness. Until next time.